Kat.
And I'm Fifi.
And welcome back to Boba and Friends. We know we haven't been around in a minute, but you know.
It's 2020.
Yeah, life kind of happened, but we're back now and we're more excited than ever. So today we're going to come at you with a little Christmas special just because we love Christmas and we wanted some cheer right now.
Something good
to
celebrate.
So we'll still cover the other holidays, but we're doing a little pre-early Christmas. We're like Hobby Lobby now.
But we'll still do another Christmas special on actual Christmas.
Yep. So why don't we start out with what we got today? So I don't know if all the states have Popeyes, but here in the South, Popeyes is pretty big. So we got ourselves a 10-piece of chicken, some biscuits, some fries, some mashed potatoes, and the infamous Popeyes chicken sandwich.
We got the spicy and the classic.
Original.
I actually haven't tried the chicken sandwich yet.
I have, and I freaking love it. I mean, I don't know if I would stand in line and like stab somebody for it. I don't think so, but it's really good. I haven't tried the spicy, but I'm gonna be brave today. I'm gonna do it. So let's get started. Oh, actually, why don't we talk about these too? We had them in our last video, but we forgot to talk about them.
So these are Boba Candles, and they actually smell like, this is brown sugar milk tea, and it really smells like brown sugar milk tea.
This one's creme brulee. They're super yummy. They got them from a small Etsy store, and we'll put the link in the description, so you should really check them out. They smell so good. They're so cute. That's true. So that's that.
Another thing is we have a new addition to Boba and Friends. It is a Boba plushie, and it's so soft and squishy.
And cute. So we don't have a name yet. We're kind of debating on the name. I think his name should be Milk Tea.
I thought his name should be Hannibal because he's a bit cannibalistic.
Yeah, he likes boba. So why don't you guys drop your suggestions in the comments? Or tell us if you like milk tea or if you like
Hannibal.
Yeah, Hannibal. So that's him. Okay, go back there.
Yeah.
Second floor. Okay. So should we talk about the eggnog?
Oh yeah. In addition, we have eggnog. This is homemade eggnog. And we added boba to it.
Because, you know, Boba and Friends.
Boba and Friends. And it's quite delicious.
It's really good. We weren't sure how it would work out. We were going to make our own boba, but I said it was too much work and I don't want to play around. So we just went to Share Tea. And they will sell you just the boba. So we made it work. It's actually really good.
Okay, so you might be wondering why we got fried chicken for our Christmas special. Now, in Japan, it's actually really popular. It's like almost a tradition to have KFC fried chicken on Christmas Day. And in Japan, it's not really celebrated as like a family holiday. It's more like a couple thing. So I mean, we're a couple of besties. So I kind of wanted to recreate that after one of my favorite dramas. Man, I can't remember what it's called, but something No Kiss in Tokyo or something. I'll drop the name somewhere on the screen. It'll be here right above the chicken. I'll put it there. So that's why we kind of was like, let's get fried chicken. But here in the South, okay, it's gonna be a debate, but I think Popeyes is king, unless you count Frenchies, which I don't as much because they're not like a huge chain. But or maybe they are. They're not as big as like, you know,
Popeyes.
Church's, KFC, or Popeyes.
So my favorite between all the three is Popeyes. I love Popeyes. KFC here is not that great.
Yeah. Like, between all three or four, I actually don't go out to eat that much, so I don't have that much of a preference. Mine is kind of between Popeyes and Church's.
Alright, so let's get this started and try. I think we'll just try the sandwiches first. I think this is the spicy one.
No, this one's spicy. That's the classic.
I'll start. You start with the classics. Yeah, I'll start with the spicy.
Okay.
It's your first time trying it.
Right.
Okay. Oh, it's got like spicy mayo in it.
Should I just try it without the ketchup first?
Yeah, just try it normal. So this is kind of what it looks like. I feel like everybody's seen this.
Yeah, it looks like a simple chicken sandwich.
All right, cheers, home. Cheers. Okay. It's so crunchy. It's not spicy at all.
Like the batter is really good. Like it has that good crunch to it. But it's not like something I would stand in line for hours, like she said.
Okay, all the spiciness was in the center. There was none in the edges. It's the sauce.
Oh.
I can handle it. It's actually really good. Dang. You know, I wouldn't get stabbed over one,
Mm-hmm.
but if I could, I'd eat this every week. It's very spicy. Oh, and we got our fries. Their fries are the best. Like, they give you a giant pack. I'm gonna get some mashed potatoes. You know I'm gonna get started already. We haven't eaten all day because we really want to be hungry for this. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's barely spicy.
Okay,
It's not even hot Cheeto level. Like, come on.
I don't think you have. I don't have you. I'm just shocked. I don't even know what to say. Hot Cheetos are. They're less spicy.
No, this isn't even hot Cheeto.
Okay, well I felt hot in my mouth. So.
I did not taste any spiciness.
Well, I do, but
Like, is it pickle?
I taste spicy, but I like it. It's not unbearable. It's good.
To me, I wish there was more. Okay, the pickle has all the spice. But still, I would have liked it a little bit more spicy.
A little bit more. I'm gonna grab a biscuit. He's a little flaky, dry. So I'm gonna put some honey on mine.
I haven't had Popeyes biscuits, so this will be an experience. It feels
I'm like
like a rock.
careful not to choke. Ooh,
Oh my,
that.
wow.
Look at that honey. It's the honey that makes it better though. I'm already like one meal in. I was hungry.
I know I've seen a lot of people compare the Popeye spicy chicken with Chick-fil-A's chicken sandwich.
What do you think? Does it compare?
Like the batter for the chicken is really good. Like you get that nice crunch. It's good.
Is it the bread maybe?
The bread's not too bad. I can taste a little sweetness to it. Yeah, I'm not a too big fan.
I just love the pickles in them. It's more like a cucumber. They're not regular pickles.
Yeah, the pickles are different.
I like them.
The sauce is pretty good too. I think Chick-fil-A, it's the sauce. You have to, like the chicken sandwich on its own for the Chick-fil-A is okay. But with the sauce, it's like amazing.
So there you have it. Our review 1 year late on the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Right. You ready to jump into the story? You want a couple more bites?
Yeah.
A couple more bites. So how's everybody been? What's poppin'? What's good? Anybody else ready for 2021? I sure am.
Any Labor Day plans?
Oh yeah, it's Labor Day. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, she forgot that there was a holiday on Monday.
I know, right? It's Christmas. Pre-Christmas now. That's what I'm gonna call Labor Day. Pre-Christmas. So does anybody else, do they like honey on your biscuit, or is that weird?
That's not bad.
I used to think it was weird until I tried it. And it was actually pretty good. Actually really good. The honey saves the biscuit. It needs it. Without it, I'd be like coughing up the biscuit. It's so dry.
No, it's still pretty dry even with the
With the honey.
Yeah. I think I would still rather have the Church's biscuits. The one thing I like Church's is their sides are a bit more variety.
Mm-hmm.
Like pepper sides are a bit basic.
Mm.
But
Like
like
what I like
Church's fried okra is really good.
I like how I literally got no utensil for myself. I'm just like going ham. I picked up the mashed potatoes with the biscuit.
That's called being resourceful.
Mm.
I'm just getting sauce everywhere.
That one doesn't have sauce. That's mayo.
Mayo's a type of sauce.
Alright, sue me.
Nah, you're gonna be poor anyway.
This is cannibalistic to me. I dip my French fry in mashed potatoes. Mm. My tolerance is growing though.
Really?
Not to your level, of course, but like I can handle this now. I would not before.
That's not spicy.
It's somewhat spicy, ho. So, let's set the tone. It's December 22nd of 1987. You're on your way to your father's house for a little bonding time with the family right before Christmas. But little do you know, you're not going to make it to see Santa this year because your father has a little bit more than Christmas cheer in store for you.
Ronald Gene Simmons, who is a father of 7, a veteran, and also the Christmas killer. On that fateful day, he murdered his own wife, Rebecca Simmons, and his eldest son, Gene Jr., by shooting them with a pistol. Later, he also strangled his 3-year-old granddaughter, who was Gene Jr.'s daughter. But he wasn't done with this killing spree. He was just getting started. Later, the remaining children, the younger children, came over. 4 of them, 3 daughters and 1 son. And he lured each one into a room by saying that he's going to offer them a present. And with each one, he strangled them to death. He disposed of the bodies by dumping them in a cesspit that was dug for sewage and plumbing because there wasn't like good plumbing in there.
So basically, it's a giant hole in the
just basically a
backyard
hole.
where the waste goes into, and
he had his children dig that pit weeks ago. So he literally had his children dig their own grave.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Mm-hmm.
So that all happened on December 22nd. Ronald waited a few days until December 26th. So on December 26th, first his son Billy and wife Renata arrived with their 20-month-old son William. First he shot each of the 2 adults and then he strangled baby William. Then he waited until his daughter Sheila and husband Dennis arrived. He shot each of them, then killed their son Michael, who's about 21 months old, and then he proceeded to strangle his granddaughter Sylvia. And please remember this name, Sylvia, the granddaughter. It'll be important later. So after he shot and strangled each of them, he proceeded to line them up in the living room, but he laid out Sheila separately from everybody else. He put their nicest tablecloth on her and just had her separately and in a way because she was his favorite daughter. So after he did that for about 1.5 days, he just drank and watched TV and hanged around his house with all these dead bodies around him.
He actually went out to go to the bar and drank too, and he just acted like everything
nothing
was normal.
happened. Yeah. Just casual day in, you know?
Mm-hmm. And you think that was the end, but no. He still continued his killing spree on December 28th. He drove into Russellville, and he went to a law firm that he previously worked at. And he shot the receptionist, Kathy Kendrick. He previously had a crush on her, but she rejected him. And I guess he felt
like she owed it to him.
Yeah, that she owed him. And he was like already killed 14 family members. He's like,
what's 2 more
that? Yeah.
strangers? So
So after shooting Kathy, We don't know. There wasn't any documentation on why he drove to this other oil company. He shot another complete stranger. He had no relationship or connection with this guy, J.D. Chaffin. And then he wounded the oil company's owner. After that, he continued and went back to his old convenience store that he used to work with, and he wounded a couple of his coworkers. And that brought an end to his killing spree.
Interestingly enough, he shot them and he wounded them. He didn't kill them, luckily.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, he just sat around and waited for the cops to come. Once the cops came, he just gave them his gun and turned himself in without a fight. Little did the cops know what would be waiting for them back at the family compound. So, what made Ronald Gene Simmons this way? What made him crack? Let's look a little bit further into him. He was born on July 15th, 1940 in Chicago, Illinois. Unfortunately, his father, William, passed away when he was 3 years old from heart condition. So his mother, Loretta, remarried when he was about 3.5 years old. Like within the year, she remarried an army engineer. This led to a life of constant travel for Ronald. He was an army kid. They moved around. He had trouble making friends. He had no real stability. And we think that's part of what led to his issues. But according to a lot of the articles, he was already showing narcissistic tendencies when he was young. There was some warning signs already that he was capable of things.
He had other siblings. They didn't go into detail on how many or if it was like sisters or brothers, but he would physically hurt them, and he would manipulate his parents, and he would show like certain fits of tantrum and rage. So from the beginning, he was already showing some concerning red flags.
His parents thought their problems were solved when he joined the Navy. He joined the Navy at 17 years old, and he really seemed to blossom in the Navy because he was the perfect soldier, according to the people around him. He loved the structure of the Navy. So when Ronald was 20 years old, he joined the Air Force right after marrying his girlfriend named Rebecca Ulibarri, also known as Becky. Their marriage early on was a unique one, to say the least. He would spend time away because he was in the Vietnam War, and he would send his family about $40 a month, which at the time it was now Becky and 3 children. He'd send them $40, but he wasn't out in the jungle. He was living comfortably at the time, but he did not worry about his kids that much. Once he retired from the military, he came back and he really controlled everything Becky did.
The children.
And the children, yeah.
He basically controlled his whole family. He controlled the schedules on when they can eat, when they can do laundry, any of the cleaning. He basically used them as labor too.
I mean, that's not what kids are for, but to a limit.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. But yeah, so he would control them. He would control Becky too, in a different way. He'd have her dress almost like she was in the army, like conservatively, hair pulled back. It has to be in a sleek updo. He was really controlling husband and father. So it was in 1979 when Ronald decides to move him and his family to New Mexico because he had retired from the military. He wanted a different lifestyle. So he bought a large piece of land and he moved his family there. He fenced in this land with fences that were about 10 feet tall of cinder blocks. I think the kids helped him make it, which
he was mostly making the kids do all the work. He was basically trying to isolate him and his family from the outside world.
But they weren't in the best conditions. There was no plumbing, like we said earlier. And this was, 1979? Plumbing was pretty readily available.
Kind of made them live in poverty, even though they did have not rich, but they had a good amount of money to not be living in such poor quality.
So he really wanted to isolate them from the world. They weren't allowed to go anywhere but school. Then they had to come right back home. The fences were made not only out of concrete blocks, but some of them had barbed wire at the top to keep the children from playing with the neighbors. And it was around this time when his wife started noticing how much he really favored their daughter Sheila. He was nicer to her. He would lavish her with presents while completely disregarding his wife.
And the other children.
So
like he would buy tons of gifts for Sheila, whatever she wants, he would buy for her. But
she was a daddy's girl.
Basically. He was treating her like his little princess.
Yes.
But while the kids, if they ask for school supplies, he just like disregards them completely.
Unfortunately, this wasn't because she was his one soft spot or she was daddy's little girl. He was actually grooming her to be his second wife, pretty much. So when Sheila was around 16 years old, she basically became his second wife and everything that entails with being a wife. So she got pregnant at 16 by her own father. So remember that name, Sylvia, the 3-year-old granddaughter that we talked about? That is rumored to be Ronald Gene Simmons, not only his granddaughter, but also his own biological daughter that he fathered with his daughter. So the family starts to notice that things are weird. He tried to isolate them from everybody so nobody would notice, but the own family started noticing. So it was in 1981 when his oldest son finally reported him to the authorities for incest. And that was when Ronald Gene Simmons decided to make the move from New Mexico to Arkansas. There he spent about 6 years hiding.
And he did the same thing as he did in New Mexico, where he got land, isolated from everyone else, made them build this wall again. Basically, complete isolation.
And they called the property the Mockingbird Hill. Mockingbird Hill. But, with children, you can't keep them forever. They start to grow up.
You can't keep controlling them.
Yeah, that's exactly what started happening. His kids started growing up. They started moving out. They started living their own lives and thinking for themselves. His wife was getting really tired of him and wanted a divorce. She hadn't quite voiced it out to him just yet, just out of fear, but he could tell. He could sense something was changing.
Gene Jr. moved out, found a wife, had a kid. His other son found a wife and had a kid. The breaking point was when Sheila found a guy, started dating, and married him and moved out. That's when he realized that he was losing complete control over his family. And he thought the only thing he has control is over their life.
So that's a little bit of the psychology behind his actions. He needed control. He still wanted to control his family. He'd done it all his life. He had control in the military, and now he was losing everything. So to him, this was his solution. This is what they deserved.
And part of him felt like he was saving them from themselves. Like this is the only way to save his family.
Okay. Okay. So now that we know the story of what led to the murders, let's talk about what happened after the murders. So he was immediately arrested. He had 2 trials. The first one for the non-family member, the 2 people he killed, the receptionist and the oil company employee. He was found guilty. Then he had another one that were for the 14 members of his family. That's a lot. 14. Is that a soccer team? Probably a soccer team. I don't know. Anyways, he was found guilty then too, and then he was sentenced to death. The interesting part was that he didn't fight the sentence. He didn't want to appeal it. That's actually what he wanted. He wanted the death sentence. He said specifically that anything else other than the death sentence in his case would be cruel and unusual. But it kind of makes me wonder, like, was it just the easy way out for him? Is that why he wanted it?
Could be, or it could be part of him will be back with his family to control him again in the afterlife.
I do not know, but that's what he wanted. It wasn't until July 25th of 1990 when the governor of Arkansas, Bill Clinton, former president of the U.S., signed his execution order. So he was lethally injected that day, and that's the story of Ronald Gene Simmons.
So one interesting tidbit, while he was in prison, they actually had to separate him with the other inmates because they were threatening his life. Pat said when he didn't fight the death appeal, the other inmates were afraid that the jurors or the prosecution would go ahead with their death, their execution.
They didn't want him to set a precedent. They didn't want him to set a precedent
where they just like go ahead with the execution.
The death.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so he was just not liked anywhere except maybe the military.
I mean, he killed like what, 6 kids?
Yeah.
That's already like, I don't know prison rules, but there's a hierarchy, right? Like if you harm women, if you harm children, you're at the bottom.
If you're rapists and pedophiles are at the bottom. I think cannibalism maybe too.
I wonder how common that is.
Yeah.
Besides their little plushie.
Mm-hmm.
So that was today's video, and we really enjoyed the Popeyes.
It was delicious.
And we're kind of starting to get into the Christmas spirit and the holiday cheer. So we hope you guys got a little bit of joy from this and your year's not going so bad.
Hope you're still all surviving.
Yeah. So go ahead, leave a little comment, leave a like if you like it. If not, that's cool.
Remember to leave a suggestion for our Boba plushie name.
Oh yeah, for real. We need a name for him. So thanks for watching. We hope to see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.